Station and Marlow Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire Station. So we are away in this event, and I feel like I'm saying this time and time again, Grace, we're getting to this point, Friday, everyone's trying to make it into that weekend, and Marlow tipped as hot favourites, especially domestically in this particular event.
Yeah, and I think especially in this particular event, when it's a coxless 4, it's one of the fastest moving boats without a coxswain, so it can be quite a tricky stage coming off the start when you're trying to get that advantage early on. But both of these crews look like they've done it pretty well, and you see the crew closest to us, they've gone with the sort of tandem in the middle, the bucket rig, which has its pros and cons, I think, as a rower, but I think it must mean that the way that they're sitting works better than going for the standard bow stroke.
And Grace, you held the world best time in the women's 4 at one point in time. Tell me what makes it feel goes quickly.
Yeah, it was actually we said that in Amsterdam. I think it's, for me, 4s are about clicking. I think sometimes it can be the best 4 people, but often it's actually about a combination, and that probably goes back to how these men are rigged. Both are buckets actually. But I think matching up with the people around you and finding a rhythm. It's a boat that, yeah, you can row quite like strong and powerful, but equally I think actually you can get through in a 4s race by rowing really well and all being on the same page. And I know that was the situation in our 4. We probably weren't the best 4 people.
But you gelled together as a quartet. And yeah, I think that's important, right? This 4 from Marlow Rowing Club, James Dolman in the stroke seat, Alfred Heath in the 3 seat, Matt Brigham in the 2 seats, and Matt Collins at bow. They've got a total of 15 Henley Royal Regattas between them, and my fun stat about this particular event is over in the Tyne crew that's trailing, they've got 14 regattas between them, so just 1 regatta total, if you add them all up, between all the athletes, separating both of these boats.
Yeah, very, very, a lot of results in these crews. And I always remember back to, I think Matthew Brigham has an incredibly famous race here at Henley, and I was in the New Zealand team that year when he managed to beat Mahe Drysdale on the Diamond Sculls Challenge, and I feel like he became infamous around world rowing after that, but it was an incredibly impressive performance from him.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a Kiwi, you will know Matt Brigham very well. Every time you see his name, you're like, oh, that's that guy that beat Mahe. But he's switched his sculls for sweeping, which can be challenging to do. Have you ever done that, Grace? Have you ever done double sculling at all?
I did one season sculling back home in New Zealand, but it wasn't so much for me. I think in my experience, a lot of scullers can come into sweep boats and do quite well. I think sweeping, going to sculling is a little bit more difficult. I think you just become a little bit less even, for want of the better word. You come a little bit imbalanced. You're used to your side. You're a little bit more dominant on one side, whereas the scullers row nice and symmetrically, which I definitely didn't have in my crew.
Well, it's not only Marlow that has had somebody that's switched disciplines. Corey Wilkinson in the 3 seat of the Tyne boats. That's one back from the person at stroke. William Shaw setting that rhythm. Corey Wilkinson actually did the Diamond Sculls himself for Leeds Rowing Club, which is where Matt Brigham was. So Leeds, it's Leeds versus Leeds here in the middle pairing of this Marlow and Tyne boat. But yeah, Wilkinson did not only the diamonds but also the double sculls as well for Leeds. So yeah, a little bit of familiarity, I guess, between both Wilkinson and Brigham, I think, head to head here.
Yeah, it always adds an extra dynamic there, I think, and in a really good way. I love the sort of internal battles that you have in these crews, and that's one of the really cool things about Henley as well. Like, so many of these athletes know each other, and you're lining up and you feel very close to each other. There's not a lot of space between the crews, so it feels very, very intimate.
Well, that was a great shot there of Tyne, and I must give a shout out if you're listening in the northeast, if you're unable to travel down here to Henley Royal Regatta from Newcastle upon Tyne. What a brilliant performance Tyne have put in across not only this Wyfold Challenge Cup, but the crews in the Wargrave, the crew in the Thames, an amazing contingent coming down here from up north, but it will be the final row here for Andrew Tudor, Tommy Campbell, Corey Wilkinson and Will Shaw, unless anything very dramatic happens, visitors-esque, you know, from Cal back in the day in these final stages towards the booms, but I don't think it will. It looks like Marlow well on track, steering straight as a pin across the line. It will be close, 3/4 of a length perhaps Tyne managed to pull back there as Marlow wound it down, but Marlow will go through to the next round of the Wyfold Challenge Cup.